What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and today Sony have come out and officially announced that the PlayStation 5 is due in holiday of 2020. Now, to anyone with a functioning brain, this comes as no surprise whatsoever, because of course they're going to release their brand new next-gen console at Christmas, because that's when everyone buys everything. In the run-up, all the new games, the big games are coming out, the new Call of Duty will be out, the new Battlefield will be out, the new whatever will be out, and of course, yes, that means there will probably be next generation and current generation versions of these games. So there will be stuff for people to play on them. Their new franchises, or new entries in their existing franchises that they love will be available in better forms on day one. Now, not only that, but Sony have released a few more details and a few more bits of info regarding the hardware and the features of what's going to be in the PS5. Now, we already know a few things from when they talked about it before, like how it was going to be based on the third generation Ryzen, and it was going to have some form of stripped down Navi GPU, as well as come with solid state drive. Which is all fantastic news. I am absolutely 100% as much as possible getting away from the absolute joke that is this generation, possibly the worst generation in console hardware in existence. But let's look at what Sony are doing with the next generation PlayStation 5 and what they're calling the next generation controller. Strangely enough, they didn't come out and call it the DualShock 5, but anyway, let's go. So the new controller, apparently the big innovations will be haptic feedback. Now, if you aren't familiar with haptic feedback, think the Xbox One X Elite controller, or Xbox One Elite controller, I don't know why I threw the X in there as well. That has haptic feedback, specifically in the triggers. So depending on what you're doing, what you're shooting, what you're moving, etc., how you're doing it, whatever, it feels and plays differently, it rumbles differently, and all of that. So Sony's official lines in that regard are, with haptics, you truly feel a broader range of feedback. So crashing into a wall in a race car feels much different than making a tackle in the football field. You can even get a sense for a variety of textures when running through fields of grass or plodding through mud. So yeah, it's going to have adaptive L2 and R2 trigger buttons. Hopefully they've improved them over the PlayStation 4 versions, because while the PS3 versions were absolutely unusable, the PS4 versions did improve on them, but they weren't perfect. They still tried to be half shoulder button, half trigger, and it just didn't work very well. Commit to one or the other, Sony. Go full trigger. That will really benefit everyone involved. The PS5 controller will also have a better integrated speaker, so it'll be improved over the crap that's in the existing one. Although, frankly, I think it was nice in one or two times. I remember the first couple of times I started playing games and I realized, oh, stuff actually comes out through the controller. I did think a great one, for the first little while at least anyway, was when you're playing Borderlands 2 in the Handsome Collection. Certain things would come out through the controller. Most notably, one that I remember is one of the guns that would scream at you and insult you would do it through the controller. It was nice at first, but it got jarring after a while. Just like how I'm not looking forward to Death Stranding doing the same thing later this year, because something in that comes out through the controller. But probably most importantly, it's going to ship with a USB Type-C connector, which is fantastic because that's what everything should use nowadays, and it will sport a larger capacity battery. Now, they haven't said what capacity will be in this battery, but originally, when you look at the DualShock 4, that thing doesn't last for shit. I fucking hate that controller in so many different ways, battery life being one of them. Apparently it's going to feel a little bit better in your hand as well, because one of the project managers has said that it's going to feel, compared to a DualShock 4 at least anyway, slightly more heavy and slightly weightier. He mentions it's akin to an Xbox One controller with batteries in it. Now, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because when you look at the base Xbox One controller, it's not great. It does have a better feel to it than the DualShock, but it's not great overall. I personally use Xbox One Elite controllers. Those feel fantastic. The weight, the overall quality and build of them is fantastic. The PlayStation 5 will also utilize 100GB optical discs, which is one of the new improved, well, I shouldn't say new because they've been around for multiple years at this point, improved standards of Blu-ray, where you can have 100, I think it's 200, 250 and 500 gig capacity discs, and most of them can be read by all of the same drives, or with very, very small modifications. So yes, it is going to have a disc drive in there too. Speaking of the disc drive, it will also be a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive, unlike the PlayStation 4 Pro. Which is good, because when you look at it, we already have a few games this generation that are too big for one disc, some of which are basically the size of two discs. If you look at the Xbox side of it, Games like Halo the Master Chief Collection, Gears of War 4, Gears of War 5, these are games that are nearly 100 gigabytes. Hell, Halo 5 with all its patches and 4K content and whatnot is over 100 gigabyte. Red Dead Redemption 2 shipped on 2 Blu-rays because of the sheer size of it. The upcoming game, The Last of Us Part 2, shipping on 2 discs because of the size of it. And of course, because the hardware in the PlayStation 5 and whatever is going to be in the Xbox 2.4 isn't going to be absolute dirt like it is in the Xbox One and the PS4, games will be able for much higher resolution and much higher quality assets. Which means bigger file sizes, which means bigger install sizes and bigger downloads. So, 100 gig discs. And then of course they just reiterated a little bit about the CPU and GPU as well, talking about, oh, you know, ray tracing cores, blah, 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 yada, 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 which is a bit unfortunate because that basically, if you want, almost confirms, again, we're looking at another 30 FPS generational standard in this fucking whack-ass console cycle. Sure, there'll be a couple of more basic games and whatnot, probably run at 60 FPS or with no ray tracing or whatever. Not to mention it's probably going to have extremely low quality ray tracing because otherwise the fucking things will burst into flames, all while running at 2 FPS. But yeah, that absolutely breaks my heart that these are focusing on the wrong things again. I've said that for years at this point, ever since I started making YouTube videos. One of my main complaints with the existing consoles at the time, what was a valid, absolutely 100% proven problem I had with what was going to be the upcoming PS4 Pro and Xbox One X and this new upcoming generation, is that developers, publishers are all going to focus on the wrong thing. They're going to make lovely high-resolution games that you can take nice high-resolution screenshots at, put them all over your Twitter, whatever it is, or that they can market really, really easy. Meanwhile, the game is going to run at 14 to 21 FPS fucking S. Of course, naturally, the fanboys are defending the shit out of this, but fuck it, what do I know? I'm just better than all of them. Anyway, let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts, feelings, opinions are on anything we talked about with the new upcoming PS5, the release date announcement, and reiteration, and one or two of the stuff that we already know, as well as the couple of little extra new bits that we know about now today. Hit the appropriate button to let me know how I did on the video. And you know what? Fuck it. Just remember, I'm Retro Q Gaming. And fanboys, I'm just better than you.